Software engineers have about 1 year left before everything changes forever. I left my 300K Amazon job right before this happened. And now I run an AI business that gives me a lot of freedom. I make more money, work fewer hours, and get to travel whenever I want. But it was a grind. But I realized my fellow devs don't know about this massive opportunity they're uniquely positioned to take advantage of that's hiding in plain sight. I spent years figuring this out the hard way, making every mistake possible. But now I want to make sure I help my fellow engineers shortcut that painful journey to get the freedom you actually deserve without wasting years like I did. What I'm about to share changed everything for me, but you don't have that luxury of time that I had. The window of opportunity is closing fast, and you really need to position yourself right now.
The new year is not starting off on a happy note for workers at some of the country's largest tech companies, with more layoffs just announced.
This week alone, about a dozen major companies announced job cuts, including Amazon and Google's parent Alphabet.
This trend's been getting worse and worse for software engineers. The traditional path that we all kind of followed, grinding lead code, interviewing at FAANG companies, job hopping for higher salaries, that system is completely breaking down. People are now really gaming the system with AI, even using cheating tools for interviews like the one built by Roy. He's a 21-year-old kid from Colombia who turned his hate for lead code into a multi-million-dollar business. Now, companies can't even trust their interview process anymore, which means they're changing how they hire, making it even harder to get in. But here's the real reason this is happening. AI is kind of replacing software engineers bit by bit, and it's happening faster than anyone really predicted. Even if you land that 300K FAANG job, it becomes a question of how long can you last. And even if you do, you get stuck with the golden handcuffs like I did. High pay, but zero freedom. And let's be honest, how many of us are actually passionate about that work? Building some random backend service or fixing bugs in a corporate code base? It's not really that fulfilling. But here's the thing, while one door is closing, another massive opportunity is opening. And software engineers are uniquely positioned to capitalize on it, if they act fast. While traditional software engineering jobs are slowly declining, something else is really happening. The demand for AI is absolutely exploding. Even the EU, who are normally way behind the US, passed regulations that businesses must adapt and use AI. Now, every company from small businesses to Fortune 500s are scrambling to incorporate AI in the best way possible. So me, Roy, and a bunch of others saw this wave early on, and instead of slaving away for big tech company, we kind of positioned ourselves to build a solution that addresses a real pain point in the market and creates a lot of value for others. You don't have to build controversial tools like Interview Coder, but you can follow the same playbook. You can identify a problem, you can leverage your tech skills, and ride the AI wave to create something of value. And the best part is you don't really need decades of experience. Roy was literally a college dropout who turned his side project into $1 million business. This is why software engineers are in the perfect position right now. You already have the technical foundation that AI is already built on and understand how to use tech to solve problems. You have the unique ability to bridge business problems with technical solutions at a level most people don't. But here's the catch. Most engineers are clueless about the business side. Devs are awesome at building stuff, but we totally fumble when it comes to selling, marketing, or even figuring out if anyone wants what we're making. I know this girl, Claire. She was a rock star engineer, right? She worked at Jane Street and some other big name crypto startups. Total genius. She was so good that she actually convinced some VCs to hand her $10 million to build her dream product. So she hired a team, spent a year building the product she pitched. But here's the thing, Claire didn't check if the market needed it or if people would be paying for it. She spent millions building a product first with no product market fit. And all that money and all that talent, gone, just because they built before they sold. And that's what engineers do. We fall in love with building and designing something we envision and forget the business part of it. I did the same thing when I started out in 2023. I thought I could just build my way to success. So I slaved away for months on a SaaS platform, pouring my heart into it. But I was missing the bigger picture. I had no idea how to find product market fit, making sure my product even solved a real problem people would pay for. I didn't know how to make a compelling offer, do sales, or even get the word out and do some marketing. It took me a ton of trial and error to figure out You've got to sell before you build and how to do so. Basically, before writing a single line of code, you need to talk to many people, dig deep into their problems, and make sure there's a burning pain that people will throw money at you to solve for them. I stumbled through learning all this stuff, like creating compelling offers that make people feel stupid for saying no to you, and how to actually talk to customers to find out what they want and would pay hard dollars for even before building the product. Most devs look at YC and other big companies that hide behind their fancy branding and logos as an example of what to follow. But when you're starting out, people buy from you, and that's what works now. Trust is literally at an all-time low, and you need to get ahead of it. I made every mistake in the book, but back then I had the time to mess up and recover. You don't have that luxury anymore, really, and the AI wave is like moving way too fast. Let's say you got the technical skills to ride the AI wave, but you really need to learn the business game to make that happen, and that's what I want to show you. Companies are literally begging for help to implement AI the right way, and that's your shot, but only if you can speak their language. But how do you do that? When I started out, I was just like you. Great at building, but terrible at selling. Let me break down the roadmap I use to cover up my weaknesses. So first, we want to identify what we're actually good at. So look at your skills honestly. What tech problems can you solve easily? What have you automated before that saved time? Don't think about your skills as I know JavaScript. Think about them as what have I done that produced some output like saving time or reaching out to more people. Basically, make a list and audit your skill set. This is super important because your technical skills already translate into business value. You just need to package them differently. Okay, and then 2, we want to find people with cash and a painful problem they're looking to solve. So small businesses, not big tech businesses. So forget the big companies, they already have tech teams. Go after small businesses. Like what you want to do is you want to join stuff like Facebook groups and figure out where they kind of hang out. You want to browse Reddit communities in the specific industries and look at local businesses struggling with tech. So people like real estate agents, coaches, consultants, like people who collect leads but don't really have the manpower to follow up with all of them. These folks need your help badly. And then set time with at least 10 prospects and talk to them. So this step is where most devs mess up. And before building anything, message 10 to 15 actual business owners making money, and then ask for a quick call to understand their challenges. Talk about their day-to-day. Just listen, don't pitch yet. Ask stuff like, what is your biggest challenge with sales right now? What would solving this even be worth to you? I actually have a video diving way deeper into this that I'll link after this video, but after 10 conversations or so, you'll know exactly what problems are worth solving and how much people would even pay. So now, pick the prospect with the clearest need that you talk to, make them an offer they can't really refuse by a very low price or even free if you're doing it the first time, then deliver an amazing result, and this result is the most important part, even if you have to do all the manual work behind the scenes. And then the idea is to get a testimonial and ask who else they know with a similar problem. Use this win to close your next client at a higher price. And the beauty here is you're selling before you're building. You only create the solution for the problems people have already agreed to pay for. So how does this really work? Well, let's say you find out real estate agents have tons of old leads and then they never follow up with it. Each lead costs them around $50 to $100 that they spent to get, but they're just sitting there. You could offer something like, I'll set up a system for you that contacts your old leads and books appointments on your calendar. After your first success, you'll have a case study to show the next 10 people you talk to. This works literally because you're focusing on business results, not your coding skills. You're not selling your ability to write Python or make an N8N automation. You're selling the ability to make the business more money. And by following these steps, you'll go from a dev with skills into a business owner with clients, all without building anything or even hoping someone buys what you would create. I get it. This feels scary, maybe even impossible, but here's the truth. You're not really underpaid. You're underleveraged. Your income is directly proportional to the value you provide to the market. And every day you wait is another stuck in that limbo. Another day solving fake problems that don't matter. Another day watching your potential sit dormant. You don't need another certification. You don't need to wait for the next promotion. You don't need permission from your boss. All you need is something like an hour a day. Turn off Netflix, put your phone away, block out the distractions, and just focus on building for the next 30 days. You don't even need to quit your job, just start small. What's the worst that could happen? You try and you fail? That's not really failure. Staying stuck is the real failure. Worst case, you go back to exactly what you were doing before. The best case, you unlock the life you've always wanted. More time, more ownership, more joy, more leverage, more meaning in what you do. Remember, you're a builder. You solve problems. You create systems. Now is the time to build something for yourself. But the thing is, even though now you know kind of how to escape that dev trap, there's one more thing you need to master, because if you don't, none of this will actually work for you. So watch this video next, where I'll show you some major traps to avoid when looking for the right thing to build for clients.